Can you see her now?
Yep, I'll move her over.
Hi, Bella.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
Hi. So we have a quorum, so I'm gonna do a roll call and call the meeting to order. So, Kat,
Here.
Jenny,
Here.
Bella,
Here.
and I'm also here. So it is now 6:31. We're calling the meeting to order. And the first order of business tonight is the 2 sets of minutes. Thank you, Jenny. I know you had a real tight turnaround. Appreciate that. So does anyone, let's look at the March 21st set of minutes first. I have a couple of small things, but does anyone else have any comments or corrections or edits?
I do. Under number 2, page 1, where you refer to the Trails Committee, if you could put the Southborough Trails Committee and then in parentheses, our acronym is STC. It's
Okay.
just-
Hold on. Okay, STC. Okay, so it's
Yeah,
the
that's gonna
Southborough
be-
Trails Committee.
Yeah, that's going to be in that parenthesis, and then the third sentence or the third line down, the STC.
Yeah. Okay. Did you notice if there are others, or do you want me to just look for all of them?
Yes, and then the third paragraph, starting with Freddie expressed concern,
Mhm.
there's another STC in there.
And actually the second line, of the
Okay.
second sentence of the first paragraph also has TC.
Oh, yep.
The second line in the first paragraph. Okay. Any others?
Not that I know.
But- I didn't see that. Did you have other things, Kat, on that?
No, that was it. Thank you.
So I have
Okay.
something on that paragraph.
I do have a question because I realized after I sent it out. So I think I had written down that we had approved the publicity campaign blurbs through week 3, but I think it's actually week.
Oh, you're breaking up.
4. Is that?
Yeah, it was through
Oh,
week
okay.
11.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think week 4 is correct, Jenny.
Okay.
Week 4 from April 11th. Yeah.
Okay.
And to go back to the trails bylaw, I feel like
Yeah.
the language should be more conditional or intent, like in that third sentence, it says the Trails Committee was established in 2013 and will now have its charge
Oh.
broadened. Well,
Mhm.
it's seeking to
Okay.
broaden.
So is seeking
Is seeking
to
to
have its-
broaden its charge. Is that fair? A fair
Uh-huh.
assessment, Kat?
Well, it's a little bit of a misnomer because we've already done that. So the
Oh,
bylaw just takes what the charge has done. So it's just, it's established in 2013 and will now have, that sentence actually could go away, except for it was established in 2013 because
so,
our charge, the bylaw is not broadening our charge.
oh, okay.
Charge was actually just what it was in, as it was
Okay.
changed in November.
So delete
just-
from and to the word broadened, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And likewise, in the next sentence, shouldn't it say it is seeking associate members?
No, we already have associate members.
Oh,
They already
okay.
exist. Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay,
So how should I rephrase it?
so I guess you don't have to I thought that was part of what the bylaw was doing.
No, if you wanted to clarify, let's see, along with the 5 voting members, non-voting as well. Yeah, I guess, I don't think it's really important to clarify necessarily, but you might, I don't think we talked about including the presentation as part of the minutes, just one more attachment.
Oh, okay.
I'll send that to
Did
you.
that presentation get sent out, or you need to send it to me?
No, I presented it on the online.
Oh, okay. So you're saying you would need to send me a copy of it?
Yeah. I'll do
Okay,
that
so
now.
I'm gonna, okay. There was a lot of files to keep track of in the last few meetings.
Yes, there have been.
You're
And
welcome.
Okay.
That last sentence where it says Southborough Town Council has approved of it, has Southborough Town Council approved of it in this instance or generally?
Approve the bylaw language as presented.
I would say it
Has
that precisely.
Approved,
The bylaw
Okay.
language
has
as-
approved the bylaw language
as presented.
As presented.
as presented.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was all I had. Did anyone have anything else? Okay, can I have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor? Kat,
Yes. in
Well-
favor.
Oh, wait, do you want me to second it?
oh, did I not get a second? Yeah, second by Jenny, thank you. All in favor of the minutes as edited? Kat,
Yes. in favor.
Jenny,
Yes.
Bella?
Yes.
And I'm in favor, the motion passes. And then the second set of minutes. Did anyone have anything on those? Corrections or edits? And did we lose Melissa?
She may be in the background, but I don't see her here.
I mean, at some point it said Kat was running the meeting or something flashed across the screen. Are
Okay.
you running the meeting or?
Well, so sometimes I can help the administrative side, so that might be what happened. Did she send a note, maybe?
Well, I know she had been under the weather, so maybe she just had to.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, I didn't have any corrections for the second set. Anybody?
I'm looking just one.
I'm fine with the second set.
The solar deterrent thing, I think it wasn't, maybe, I just wrote similar to Predator Guard. I think someone said it was that and I like Googled it and it didn't look exactly as what I remembered. So I don't know.
That's fine.
That's what I put.
I still have it in my car, so I don't want to run out and look and see if it's branded, but yeah,
I think it's
something
fine.
like that. It's
I'm good
fine
with
for
it.
this purpose.
I'm good with the minutes. Thank you.
Okay, so can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thank you. All in favor? Bella,
Aye.
Kat,
Yes, I.
Jenny?
Yes.
And I am as well. So we have two sets of, the motion passes. We have two sets of approved minutes. All right. So the next thing I have on the agenda is about promoting the upcoming Earth Day guided walk. We have Park Ranger Dan Harvey, who has been an outdoor educator, park ranger, etc., ready to go for us on that town forest walk for, I always forget the date. Kat, is it 24th?
24th at 1 p.m. Yeah.
At 1 p.m. at Town Forest. And we're thinking to promote it as, appropriate for families with children. It's not a rigorous walk in Town Forest, but it would not be great if you were pushing a kid in the stroller.
Yeah, that was good distinction, Joyce.
Yeah, but Dan has done he does a lot of scout things, and he is accustomed to interacting with children. And when Kat and I went out and showed him the property a couple weeks ago, he was like seeing all kinds of things. Oh, that's where a deer is rubbing his whatever. That's a deer rub.
His antlers.
His antler thingies. And you know, oh, that's this kind of a fungus, and that's that kind of a tree, and it behaves in this way. And that might be a pileated woodpecker hole, or it might be of this kind. Like he just was observing a lot of things. We think it could be interesting. And if we target it for 60 to 90 minutes, I think 90 minutes is on the outside. That could be a lot for like a kid, but so any concerns or questions about that?
I have
Okay, Yep, go
a
ahead.
question. So Joyce, so a couple things we had talked about is the urgency needing to post the hike right away. And Jenny, remind me, is next week vacation week, or does it depend? Is it this week and next week? Depends on what.
No, next week. So I think Southborough schools are closed on Friday this week. I think that's Good Friday maybe, and then basically all next week. Yeah, so the Patriots Day week is spring break.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so we were saying like we probably need to do a little publicity probably now and maybe close to it, but very soon before people actually head out of town.
Yeah, so essentially, I have a rough draft of and it's not fleshed out, of a Eventbrite registration, right? So something a shell to start populating. So one thing, Joyce, we were going to have, maybe, did we get a little bio from Dan? Something that we could add as a, here's what you can expect, or, on the leader, a little paragraph on the leader, or a couple sentences.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you were going to do that, so I didn't do it. So I'll ask him.
No, I'm super. I would be happy to.
I'll ask him right now.
Oh, okay, great. And just if you could put a little, and I'm sorry for miscommunicating. I'm trying to stay out of where I need to not stay in, and everything's confusing now. So I apologize.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just text him and ask for a couple of line bio.
Yeah, if he could do that tonight, that would be great. I don't know if we'll be able to post by tomorrow, but if anyone has any thoughts on how, like, what we could include in the walk description, aside from what Joyce just said, can you, does anything come to mind to make it exciting?
I don't know, come learn about, I don't want to say hidden, that was the word that came to my mind, but hidden, not hidden, something, animal signs, and I don't know, characteristics of some of the
Kat, do you remember?
cool plants at Town Forest.
Yeah, I like.
But kids will get attracted by like look for animal, like animal signs kind of things.
Wildlife, interpret signs of wildlife, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like you'll remember Freddie said open space was going to be posting like a calendar of events today. Now, I don't know where that was going to be.
Yeah, I poked around. I couldn't see anything yet.
But I did send her some language, Kat, which you have, which was something like get to know the trails at Southborough's Town Forest and learn to interpret signs of wildlife or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think we called it a guided nature walk.
Yeah, and I used all of that.
Yeah, so we didn't say hike.
Nope.
We said walk, and maybe do we need to be more explicit, appropriate for children, but not strollers?
Yeah, but uneven terrain or something like that.
Yeah, we'll have a description of the trail so people know.
Parking on Woodland Road.
Yep. Yep. And
what's our limit?
So I think
what's the people limit?
I think be given parking and what I counted out, I think we could limit it to 20. And it could be a little smaller if you wanted it, but I wanted to aim,
So are people allowed to park like kind of all along Woodland Road or just in that area by the Town Forest sign?
So it's really just along that right before and after that sign. So what I did was I walked it from Bay Path all the way to Meander, and counted out enough space for like 20 or 18 cars. And then we have Kidder Lane, who has a couple of spots. And I'm not going to have a car. Joyce said she was going to bike over and things like that. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And well, and you also like might want to say something like, come check out the new
Oh,
trail,
yeah.
like the new trail name, or, come discover the new trail names that were chosen as part of the,
Yes.
I don't know,
Thank you.
survey or whatever we call that.
Absolutely. That's going to be in part of the promotion too. Like everyone participated. We had over 100 people come back and vote. And here we are. We're going to unveil the unveiling of the trail names and of the trail signs. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. The person who made the comment about the salamander trail was pleased that salamander meander got chosen.
Good. And they're still up today.
I saw her yesterday. What?
Good. I went to check on the signs today just to make sure they were still there, and they are.
So I texted Dan and he said he would get me something, and I told him we're doing a registration. So if he had thoughts on language to get them to me, but
Thank you.
he's pretty amenable. I think he'll just do whatever,
Okay, so I can get that up and running this evening, Joyce. Just add some final touches and send that over after our meeting if you wanted to. And then for outreach, it would kind of be the standard channels. That being the library, the recreation, Facebook page, Sobo Care and Share. And for the Sobo Share and Care, we should probably have Joyce post that so it looks like, so it's not coming from Trails, right? So I can send a blurb. So one thing about the blurb on Sobo Care and Share is we have you, Joyce, teed up to do a blurb tomorrow for the dog waste campaign. So we might want to push that out a day and have you post on the hike or the walk rather, and we can push the dog waste out because the walk is a higher priority to get news out and about, if you think. Just a little switcheroo.
Do we know what other events are scheduled for the 24th around town?
I don't know if any are on that day specifically.
Yeah, I think that was part of our reason for choosing it.
Right. She set it up so that there was, not an overlap. With
Yeah.
my understanding.
That was my understanding too. So tomorrow's just a little bit challenging for me to do posts because I'm going to be out of the house from like 6:30 in the morning till like 10 o'clock at night. So I'm going, it's our first day as the whole office back in Boston, and then I'm going to an alumni event straight from work. But
well, let me ask Jenny, do you post on? I'm happy to do it, but the issue is that people will associate me with Trails, so we don't want to make this a Trails event. So we're trying to get some.
Yeah, I could do it if you.
I can send you everything you need, and you just post.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because it'll just be a blurb and a link, and once you post the link, you know how the little image will show up by itself. You don't even have to do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Jenny.
Okay.
I'll get that over to you.
Can you send it? Can you make sure you send it to my Gmail?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Kat, you're talking about the link to the Eventbrite that you're creating.
Yeah.
And it will
Right,
shut
and-
down after a certain number.
Yep, I'll limit the number of tickets to 20. And we'll make sure we say that in our, publicity, our outreach stuff, that's limited to 20. So hurry up and get your seat.
Yeah,
We'll create.
because I don't want to get kicked. I want to be able to go. I'm two people. Because
Well, let me ask, do we count as people? Maybe we don't count.
maybe we don't count because if we get that great of a sign up, then I feel like I could kind of be walking in the rear
Yeah.
with people who are falling behind or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Like with these hikes, we should have some, front leaders and back leaders just to make sure everyone stays together and great. Okay.
Is there anything else about that guided walk? What about rain? Is it?
Oh, yeah. So what we put in some of the other hikes is like, so we'll let you know on Friday, we'll check the weather on Friday. And if it looks clear, we'll send, if it doesn't look good, we'll call it on Friday.
We'll call it on Friday, but it's not till Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, do you think we would know weather by Friday? For Sunday?
Depends on if it's very clear or if it's iffy.
Yeah.
So like if it's iffy, you won't, if it's like kind of off and on, you might not necessarily know, I think.
So do we want to say, we'll let you know if, so we could leave it blank and say, we will be in touch with you if the weather changes. We'll keep an eye on the weather and we'll let you know via email. If the weather changes, in the past, I've said, I'll let you know by Friday. If the
Maybe you should
weather-
just say by Saturday.
Okay.
I mean, if it's on Sunday, is that okay? Or is that not
Yeah.
work?
Well, no, it's fine. That's absolutely fine. By Saturday, we'll let you know if there's weather issues. And so we'll have them sign a waiver. That's standard business. So it's a little blurb that we say you just release the town and the Stewardship Committee and Trails Committee from any liability. And that's just standard. But then the other question is, we had been doing waivers for COVID. Are we beyond that now? Like the town had their own little waiver. So we had included, like for the guided hike, for the moonlight hike, and the Trails Committee did a hike or two last year. So we had the COVID. Do we keep
Well, the
those waivers?
transmission rate,
It's going up.
it's low, it's still considered low. So CDC guidance is that you don't have to wear masks, they're optional. So
Yeah,
I
but
would-
as far as the waiver,
Well, the waiver also says, you agree that if you've been sick or someone in your family's been sick or you test positive, that you don't come. So
well,
I
guess
think you should just go ahead and do it.
in
it
an
doesn't-
abundance of caution, I think
Yeah.
that's probably better safe than sorry.
okay.
Now, are we asking Dan to also sign these waivers?
It's a good question because he's not volunteering.
He's gonna be paid.
It's a stipend. So I don't know.
You know
I
what?
don't
I
really know.
think I better call Melissa on that.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
I'll
assuming
take
if
that on.
thank you. If the answer is yes, then we can just send that over to him. But the waiver I have is a volunteer waiver. So I don't have a special waiver for someone who gets paid to do something. So if there's other language needed, we need to, I guess, recognize that.
Okay, I'm just made myself a note to ask Melissa, and if she doesn't know, she'll know who to send me to.
Yep.
On the waivers to hold the town harmless.
Okay.
Okay. And also for the upcoming Earth Day guided walk, we think we're about to talk about this Friday when we no longer had quorum, so we could not. But the work on the town forest trails itself.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's a cue for me to
Yes.
then, okay. Yeah, so the town forest has lots of trees down over the trails. So we need some chainsaw work, and then we need some cleanup. So the Trails Committee has been approached by Verity Opportunities and the Chinese Gospel Church, both two entities that have a group of volunteers. And so I approached Joyce to talk to the Stewardship Committee to see if the Trails Committee could offer some volunteers to help clean up the forest in advance of the work. So we would do that Friday, the 22nd. I'm going to take that day off from work. And so we would be, my husband, chainsaw trained, will do the big work, and then the volunteers will come through and take off all the unnecessary branches and stuff that are in the way. And then, yeah, and then probably there's a little bit of trash just along where we park. So we'll probably just clean that little
Yeah.
specific place up.
We had a good look at those trails yesterday. So do we need a vote on that?
I don't think so. Like, we were talking about when we really need votes and when we don't need votes. This to me feels like we don't need a vote, but we're all in agreement. But
Yeah.
I have to admit that I'm a little unclear on when votes are.
Yeah, it just seems this is a great opportunity. It's some great group of volunteers. You'll get out, and we were out there, Kat, I and her husband yesterday, actually, which is the next agenda item anyway, installing the signs. And here and there would say, well, it would be good if the when they're out, they move this log that's, across the trail and there's one little trail entrance that is, it's just easy to miss. I forget which one it was, that one close to the pike there. It was
Huckleberry
easy to
Way.
miss.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
Huckleberry Way.
Huckleberry Way was easy to miss, but we saw some logs that could easily be just moved to line them up. And then, so there was a couple of things like that that wouldn't even require any equipment, just manpower. So, and it was there anything else on promoting the upcoming guided walk?
No, I think the only other thing would be to bring in, so I guess if the link goes live tonight, Joyce and the committee, and Freddie hasn't submitted her schedule yet, would there be an opportunity to send her the link? And perhaps Joyce, you might be the best person to do that, or Jenny, to send her the link and ask her to include that in her outreach?
Yeah, yes. I don't know where her stuff is going. Is it going to a mailing list that I wouldn't even get anyway?
I'm not sure. And if she's referring to My Southborough, which is my lead into that, because if it goes to My Southborough, that would be perfect, right? To include the link to the registration. If it's not going to My Southborough, then we should reach out to My Southborough and ask them to do a little blurb and post on the forest walk.
Yeah.
But I don't want to overshadow. I want to work in conjunction with, and not. So that's why I think some communication to ensure that we're not
I wonder if she was intending to send it to like recreation, because don't they do packets that have a lot of stuff in them?
You mean distribution list?
Yeah.
Wise.
Maybe.
Well, I know
Yeah.
Tim has, he does have a distribution list, but I don't know when he chooses to use the email version. I only get the Facebook version. So I haven't, so I don't know exactly. It could be she might be using the all alert, the all towns alert, which is another option for us, is using, conservation e-alert, trails e-alert, and the townwide e-alert. But
at least we know it's going to be on her, whatever she's doing, we know it'll be part of that.
The listing will, but not, if we can reach out with the registration link, that would be most helpful, I think, for people to drive a little traffic. So is the committee comfortable? So Jenny, you're going to reach out to Sobo's Chair and Care tomorrow after I send you the blurb. And is the committee comfortable with me asking the different outreach channels, that being library and that being recreation and some of the e-alerts, to say, hey, can you post? And My Southborough, once we figure out how the open space is going to promote.
Yes, I would say once we figure out where that is, because that might be a duplicate effort.
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Right.
Yeah.
And to ensure
I'll agree to find out where that stuff goes from Freddie.
Thank you. Okay.
And I did hear back from Dan that he thinks 20 is a good size.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's get 20.
And,
by the way, the sign guy, Philip, I can't pronounce his last name, so I won't. It's Springer Signcraft, the ones who did the sign. He has 2 twin girls, so he asked about joining. I don't know if the committee minds. I'm sure it would be okay. He's not a Southborough resident, but he was interested, so I was going to put that out to him. And if he wants to make the hike, I mean, he lives in the Dorchester area, I think, but if he wants to come out and see his handiwork, then would the committee mind if we opened it up to him? I am going to keep the registration private on Eventbrite, because we have apparently Eventbrite pushes out events to other towns and communities, and people can get alerts when guided hikes are happening. And there's, a small following of Southborough folks, of happenings here. So I'll keep that private so that we can focus on the townspeople.
Yeah, I mean, 20 people, if it's like several families, that could go very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
And you know, if anyone gets out to Town Forest between now and then, take a look at the beautiful signs
Yes.
and the terrific work that Kat and her husband did. I was
Well,
mostly,
you did, Joyce. What, are you kidding me? You were there. Now, everyone realized we did post them a little higher than you might post signs. And that was particularly because we wanted to make them a little less desirable to pull off the tree. So,
yeah, always worried about theft, you know, of a good looking sign that some kid's gonna want in his dorm or something.
like, who wouldn't want Huckleberry Way or Witch Hazel
Or
Salamander
salamander.
meander.
or Salamander Meander? That thing went up really high, Julie. Jenny, don't worry. We brought the wrong kind of ladder, but my husband used it anyway. So thank you, Joyce, for all your time.
Yeah, it was nice to be out there. Though all of a sudden the weather changed and like the temp dropped like 10 degrees, and we thought we were going to get a storm or something. Okay, so that takes us right up to item 4, which is any of the remaining kind of messaging around the campaign. So we did talk briefly about this Friday. Kat and I are aware that a lot of people, you know, have some conflicts. We are prepared to be out flagging Saturday morning, and to be there for a couple of hours on Saturday for the campaign. I've got dog biscuits. I've got poop bags. So we'll plan to be there. For
So
some,
Joyce, yeah, so we're gonna have a table, and I can bring a 6-foot table. Is that good?
Mhm.
And since we're gonna be there from 9, do you want a pop-up tent of any kind just to provide
I
any
guess
shading, or do you feel comfortable with what we?
if it's rainy or something, but if it's not rainy, I don't care if we have shade. I mean, I always wear sunscreen or a hat.
Okay. And then, so we'll have the dog biscuits and stuff. So we talked a little bit, do we want any brochures of any kind? I kind of feel like we could probably stay away from the paper printing and be fine, but I pulled up the Bark Ranger brochure. I just don't know if it's worthwhile looking into.
Yeah, I tried to edit that once with our information and wasn't able to edit it.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if, I mean, we're going to give it to people and then people are going to throw it away. And so that I'm just not sure it's worthwhile, but if you think it is, then we can certainly do something like this.
I mean, I guess this is pretty simple, and I think you can say the gist of it in a few sentences.
I agree. And we could have like a 11 by 17, like on the front of the table, have a key message or two or something talking about like the grassland birds, because one of the things during the weekend, I had an AMC backpacking workshop, and I spoke to one of the leaders who is also an alpine steward. She's above tree line in the Whites. She goes up there and she talks to people about staying on the trail, the importance of staying on the trail, but also having your dog stay on the trail because of the sensitive plant species at that level. And I asked her how she approached people to, not to make them defensive. I was just curious. And she had a really good point, and similar to probably what Bark Ranger said, but it was a good reminder to speak for this species that can't speak for themselves. And it takes it's not so much we're saying you're wrong, but we're speaking for the nesting birds. Like, I don't know if you happen to see, Mass Audubon had this beautiful picture of was it a sandpiper or something, a bird, and it was protecting its little birds, and it was in the sand. And they said, remember that we're sharing our space with other wildlife, and how important it is to keep our dogs leashed so that we're not, these babies are out there, So is there, some message like that we could really get people to think about, instead of no, but we're trying to protect these other species. I thought it was an interesting approach that really could disarm people from feeling like you're attacking them or making them wrong. You're really just educating them about the grassland birds that are in decline, for example. Could there be some information that we share, since it's that kind of season? on a, 11 by 17 that we could print at home or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think something like that. And then also just saying that, one of the videos made your post videos made the point that, dog waste has a lot of nutrients, and it's not like, the one that the bear pops out, the weird little bear pops out. That's like a person dressed up probably. That, that bears are eating stuff that's on, on that property, on that piece of land.
Yeah.
And so they're not really providing, when they poop, it's not really providing excess nutrients, but, dogs are eating like very high in nutrient, food from, that's produced from elsewhere. And then, they're providing, excess nutrients that like really totally affects the vegetation. And, it can run off to, area water bodies.
Yep.
So there's just like, keeping dogs on leash or on the trail so they're not adversely affecting wildlife like grassland nesting birds. And then also the whole, pollution aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess my concern is, do we have time to like create that now for Saturday?
Well, is it, and I'm sensitive to that too. But is it really just a couple sentences printed really large on 11 by 17, and it doesn't have to be fancy? It's just a few messages, like if they didn't stop by and talk to us at a table and they glanced over, that's what they would see, and they'd walk away and still have a takeaway. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like when we went to the Park Ranger thing, that the message at the tables they said was, would like to meet your dog, to get him to come over.
Yeah.
What's your dog's name? Come, let us meet your dog. Then you do the education.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't have to. I just I liked the approach. It could be something we do later, or even on the kiosk. When we.
Yeah, I guess I'm not opposed to it if we could come up with the sentence or two now.
Well, can it just be as simple as what we just said? Like, I think the grassland nesting birds is what I'm thinking about. That came to mind. Like, that's one of the reasons now we want to be sensitive to that. That might resonate with people who care.
When we go out to do those other flags Saturday morning, I will have the fragile habitat signs that we can also put up. A few of them are there, but a lot of them got taken in, and I can re-put up the others.
Okay.
Because usually April 1st is when we like to do that. So
yeah.
I mean, how do the, what's that?
I just also wanted to add, like, just reiterate the point that Breakneck Hill is a conservation land, because like that is the main goal. And sometimes that can like get lost in, like the translation of going on a hike with your dog, and like just reinforcing that point in like that short little blurb too. I feel like that could be really helpful, because I feel like sometimes people can forget that. And the point is like protecting and conserving the habitat for the bird species. So I feel like that would be like the 4 point as to why dogs should be handled at all times and everything else that
Well,
goes.
it's kind of true, right? I mean, people refer to it as Breakneck Hill. They don't say Breakneck Hill Conservation Land. It's like the part that gets chopped off. Oh, let's go to Breakneck Hill. And so any education that reinforces that, it's almost like did you know that this is a conservation land, that where grassland nesting birds, which are in global decline, have habitat? Did you know that we're obligated to protect them? Did you know that's why we want dogs to stay on trail? Did you know their poop can run off and harm?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Also,
Yeah, absolutely.
We could just keep it that simple. All those things you just said that I wrote down.
does anyone have any concerns about that kind of messaging?
Sounds good.
So,
All right.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Right, so you're saying, so are you saying like to have that on 11 by 17 or just like kind of just have that in mind for what you're gonna say?
I'm okay with it on 11 by 17. I'd also like something that's like inviting, like, we'd love to meet your dog or something like, you know, that was definitely something we learned in Park Ranger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that they do come over to us. I guess
Okay.
we better keep those dog treats on the table because if they're on the ground, the dogs will get them, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So Joyce,
Yep.
I'll send you some stuff. I'll send you some language that will be very simple to just look over and approve, and then I can get that printed.
Yeah, can we hear from the committee that they're comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable.
Okay. All right. And so then we won't be, we can certainly use conceptually what's in that Bark Ranger pamphlet conceptually, but not to hand out.
Right, no handouts.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so what are the other things that we have to go through for the paperwork, Kat?
Okay, so it looks overwhelming, but it really isn't. The biggest piece that we want to finalize is the supplemental information for dog owners. And I'll just take us through quickly the overview so you understand the other little pieces and we can make them right size so we don't feel overwhelmed. So the big piece is the supplemental information for dog. It's a 1-pager. And so it's been tweaked based on our last conversation. So this is going to go to town meeting. So we need it in advance to be printed so that Jim Haggerty, who had volunteered to do so, would be able to get copies. That's one. And it would also be going into dog license. I think it's in the renewals. And the, actually, Jenny, remind me, when you do a renewal, do you get an email? Is that what happens or?
Oh my gosh. It doesn't happen very frequently, so I'm not even sure if it's an email or a letter.
Okay, so either way.
Seems like things might be emails.
Yeah, emails with the supplemental, and then for new dog owners, it will go with the dog license application. However they give, when they give out the tags, right? They would give this information. That was my understanding of how this would work. Is there any difference in thought process on that? And that helps make this program sustainable, like over time. So we're educating new dog owners that come into town that register a dog or that are new to dog ownership. And then it also during renewal process is a reminder.
Actually, you always get a physical envelope because you have to get the tag. So maybe, well, I don't, whatever the town staff think makes sense, but
yeah,
it may just be that it just goes out with every tag.
Yeah. Something like that. And we can talk to Mr. Haggerty and find out what his process, and he can guide us on what he thinks is the best way to approach it. That way he's not being, he's in the process and stuff.
Do we have any control over this not being edited when we hand it off?
No.
Well, if you send it as a PDF, right?
Well, even with PDFs, you can actually edit PDFs now with the software, so it's really nothing.
Yeah.
You
I
could
guess
lock the PDF, I suppose.
It's just like it does say at the bottom that it's from our 2 committees. So like, I would want to know if someone edited it after us.
Yeah, we could definitely, we could lock the PDF or make a request that, if any changes, significant changes, I guess, that we don't, if our names are going to remain on the initiative, then we have to know what the changes are. So we can make that, we could share that as a perspective.
Yeah.
And then so related to the dog information is the dog license application. So do we want to add information to the application or the web page? So do we want to do both or one or the other? So I made some suggestions. So that's once you get past this document, the other 2 are really simple. They're very short. And then the other piece is the welcome letter. It was a blurb. So that's pretty simple. And then the town forest map board is pretty straightforward and simple. And we've already talked about the guided walk description. The only other thing is that we haven't talked about, and I don't have for us tonight, and so we need to talk as a committee how to figure out, is the interpretive signage. You know, we're running low on time and approval time, so I don't know how we'll deal with that, but so that's
So
all
is-
that I have left.
Well, or I guess, are we going to just talk about those in that order?
Yeah, starting, I have the
Okay.
dog owner, I just want to give a high level overview so that people could kind of right size
Yeah.
their expectations.
Yeah, so now the Trails Committee has weighed in on this too.
Trails Committee's meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep, so.
So I don't know if do you want to go through this again, or I do have like a few small comments.
Yes, I want to go through it again. What we'd like ideally
Okay.
coming out of this, because the objective is to have all of this wrapped up, because we're not going to meet again before April 30th. There's another choke fund grant. And if Trails Committee wants to go after that choke fund grant, and we're not making it about the Trails Committee, but we do want this project wrapped up, so we can submit another application. And that's, you know, also a driving factor. Not only does it, you know, that's one piece, but the other piece is it's been a year. So we want to make sure
Yes.
that we're wrapping it up. And our objective was to do it around Earth Day, or the 30th is fine,
Right.
if possible.
So what do you got, Jenny, on this one?
Yeah.
So I was going to say to strike that first sentence because I felt it sounded repetitive.
Yeah.
With like later on, we say, well, we welcome dogs in Southborough. And it's still starting out positive if you just say dogs are important members of our family.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And
And
I counted
then,
the number of times I used dogs in that first paragraph, and there was a lot.
okay. The map, so it says Sudbury and then it says North Basin Reservoir.
Yeah,
Is there a reason why it says North Basin?
it's a map taken from DCR information that I can't really edit, so it's just.
So they're calling it North Basin?
Yeah, it's their information. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, if you can't edit it, that's fine. That's not, that's not the actual, that's not DEP's name for the water body. And it, and I think it actually said, well, I can't actually see that part. Sudbury Reservoir. No, I think it only says Sudbury Reservoir, like on the actual map. But if you can't edit it, it's fine. Okay, what else did I say?
I mean, if you needed that to be changed, I could technically put a text box over the image and just put Sudbury Reservoir Watershed. Would that be a better way a more accurate representation or title for this image?
That's the name of it as DEP recognizes that.
Yeah, I don't know what North Basin means. I didn't dive into.
I mean, yeah, and I don't, and I just didn't know if there's a lot of water bodies that have locally known as blah, blah, blah. So I didn't know if people who have lived here longer than me call it North Basin.
Never heard of it called that. So I'm just gonna suggest to.
I mean, this is me. You probably know by now I'm a stickler for details.
Have you noticed me? I love details, though. Thank you.
Just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. So somewhere in here, and I kind of wrote this in the bottom, so it looks like maybe there might be some extra space. So you've said multiple times, to pick up after your dog and properly dispose of all dog waste. So I feel like somewhere it would also be nice to say something like, and never dispose of dog. Well, I think it should say properly dispose of dog waste in waste receptacles or something like that. Or you could also say never dispose of dog waste bags in storm drains, catch basins, which drain, what did I write? as these drain to lakes and streams untreated, or that's not totally,
So you think people need to know that storm drains are not properly disposing of poop?
yes. So there are people who put them in
heard it.
storm drains.
Okay.
What?
Gotcha. I heard
Yeah,
that.
and so I would love to think that people don't do it anymore, but I think it still happens. So I
Is
think at
storm
minimum,
drain
if spaces, what?
Is storm drain enough of a description rather than catch basin? Because I'm just concerned of space. So I want to be as inclusive as we need to be and descriptive.
Yeah, and if you know, if other people know the little drains on the side of the road as catch basins, then you can just call it catch basins.
Oh, I was thinking just calling them storm drains because I
I
think
don't know
Oh,
what a
okay.
catch basin is. I thought
You
it
don't?
was a
Okay.
storm drain.
I thought a storm drain too. So storm drain, I think, is more for the common people, the lay people.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the storm drain is like basically the piping, and the catch basin is like the thing that you're seeing, that little drain on the road.
We're not, yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Did anyone else know
Okay.
that besides Jenny?
So, however, so
Okay.
if you feel like the layperson is just going to know it as a storm drain, then that's totally cool with me.
Okay, I'll see what we can do for both because it's going to speak.
Yeah.
to
So like, yeah. So if space is at a premium, like, then I would at least love for you to say to properly dispose of dog waste in trash receptacles. So that would be like the shorter way, but sort of the extra tidbit, since you're saying multiple times properly dispose of it, the extra tidbit would be to say never dispose of it in storm drains, because they drain directly to lakes and streams and aren't treated.
See, and this is where I'm glad you're bringing this up because I've gone back and forth on like what properly means. And I really put faith in the human race that properly would get it, but I got it.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I used to do bacteria source tracking, and yes, I would love to think that time has passed, and I don't know, people are more educated, but I don't know if the layperson is educated or not.
So if we make those changes, this is going to be the handout at town meeting and included with the license?
The proposed, yes. How does it do? We were all at the last meeting and we understood the concerns. Does this help address some of those concerns in the ways that we talked about?
In terms of where dog walking is permitted?
Yeah. So we don't say anything that we had agreed to not say here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess it makes me nervous. Someone's going to think it's okay to edit it and add things, which I think there was a lot of, there's places around town that don't want to be named as welcoming dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and then have even more dogs. So,
I'm almost, so I do think it's a little weird that the header is where is dog walking permitted.
There's a reason.
Like, I feel like maybe we should just change that to something else, or not even have a header, but
So
maybe just change it to something else.
Prohibited.
I was trying to break up the text so it's not so text heavy header. It did say where's dog walking not permitted. And the reason I switched it to this is because of the positive tone that permitted makes it. And because of a specific conversation that, resident reached out and said, hey, why don't you flip this conversation and, tell us about where dogs can go, and it was a very real acknowledgement that some of the messaging is no, and, how do you balance that? So I'm open to
message is no. I mean,
What do you say?
There is some truth to that.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think that it can be less negative if we said, where is dog walking prohibited, than saying, where is dog walking not permitted? So prohibited, while it has the same meaning as not, it doesn't have that no word in it.
Okay.
Where is dog walking prohibited? Dog
Is that-
walking is not allowed on any athletic field.
So I
But
guess
yes,
the question is, you know, saying like, I mean, we all know that we had this conversation and we're not wanting to mention certain properties that we don't want to get overpopulated, but I don't know. It does sound like a little weird, I think, to say that it's permitted on sidewalks, roadways, and a few other locations. Like just, I don't know, like I'm just thinking about if you saw that. But I don't know if that just makes it too negative, if we're just basically only talking about where it's not allowed.
I mean, honestly, I think the education campaign is about where it's not allowed and picking up after your dog. So yes, it is a little one-sided, but that's where we feel like the education is needed. I don't know that we need to so.
Well, or what if if that paragraph is kind of more about if it started with the dog walking is not allowed bit, but then we said, please visit the Southborough Trails Committee for more information on trails in town, or, you know, just to make that a little bit more explanatory of what you're going to find there.
I was
What?
on purpose vague. I was vague on purpose there because
Yeah.
because of the constraints. So
Yes.
I am leaving mystery here on purpose because we cannot half the conversation's not being had. And so that's the balance I'm trying to strike. So I'm looking for feedback on how to achieve that in a way that's going to be acceptable to both committees, you know. And so, you know, I'm a little uncomfortable saying, you know, just leaving it is permitted on sidewalks and roadways. Period. Like that makes me a little uncomfortable. And
so I think it's
just leave it out for finding those locations on your own without telling them.
Yeah, well, like I guess, so I'm understanding that, and I feel like it's weird to even just have that sentence in there. You know, to have this like.
I wanted to start with something positive.
Yeah.
And I know it feels weird and it is weird and I can't help the weird, but there are places you can walk your dogs and then there's some places you can't walk your dogs.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? The first paragraph is positive, like that we know we're in a protected watershed and like, oh, great, we're in this area that has, you know, protected lands and whatnot. Like that's all positive. I do think it's okay. Like this cannot be everything to everybody. We have to have some parameters on it. So I think it's okay. And I would actually go, if the idea of this is that it's supplemental information, people will get it at town meeting and they'll get it when they when they come up for their licenses. I would argue that we don't need to, that maybe it's an overreach for us to change the dog officers' forms. That maybe we don't have to micromanage that.
So I hear you. And maybe we don't have to send in, so maybe that, to your point, not sending in a revised form, but could we make do we feel strongly about making a suggestion?
A suggestion of what? If they're going to include this form, I mean, this supplemental information, then I don't think they also have to be on the form.
Okay. So that's great. So the application off the table, but I would recommend that they change their website. Because there's a landing page for dog stuff and there's an FAQ section and it never talks about picking up after your dog and it never talks about, it doesn't even link to the bylaw and it doesn't talk about any of the, you know, leash, you know, keep your dog under control type thing. So that was that piece. So I'm good with that, Joyce. No website, no application suggestion.
Well, how does the rest of the committee feel? I just feel like we're the Stewardship Committee and like that. I think the supplemental information seems like an appropriate use. And then like to actually say, okay, animal control, change your stuff seems like an overreach.
Well, it's not, okay, so I hear you, but so we're all human. And we're allowed to make suggestions when we observe something. I make suggestions on the website, and I hope I don't have a reputation of overstepping, but when I see things that are like, oh, there's a link broken. Oh, this doesn't say this, and this is redirected to an old map. I'm like, oh, just so you know. And I thought it was a courtesy type. So I'm, I know we're the stewardship and trails, but I'm comfortable making a suggestion because we're on this topic and they can take it or leave it, right?
Yeah, no, wait, so yeah, I wasn't totally following. So you're saying not to have a suggestion on the rules page for the license? Or the,
I thought it was.
the application. I know you had I know you had one of those forms. Can you flip that open really fast?
Yes. Now the fast part is tricky. Okay, here it goes.
Or is it hard to switch from one to the other?
No, it's not opening fast. Like I have it. Oh, here, I already had it open. That's the problem. All right, can you see I just switched to it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's not letting me in. I was sharing screens and then I thought I could change on the screen and it won't let me. So you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So everything above this last box is what the application was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I guess I didn't print that. I printed it must be the web page.
The web page, yeah.
Okay.
And I was debating of whether it even made sense to amend the application because that's something they fill out and they send in and then it's gone and off their plate. That, it would be more impactful for them to get it in their license, like Joyce said, or in the renewal. And it would be great to have on the landing page.
So the landing page is the stuff in yellow under the dog licenses / animal control stuff. Town webpage, suggested changes.
Yes, so I have it. Hold on.
Okay, so.
I did have all this stuff open somewhere.
And that's where. You've added frequently asked questions 5, 6, and 7.
Right, can you see my screen now? I have it highlighted.
Yeah. And
Okay,
I would
great.
just say for the same reasons we think it's weird here in the supplemental information, I would drop 5.
Wait, well, I mean, I think I would rephrase it, but I think including that all dog waste must be picked up and packed out and dogs should be kept under control.
Yeah, so we could just retitle it.
Yeah,
And
reframe the question.
Yeah, what do we want it to say? So it's not about where dog walking is allowed. It's about, is it an FAQ though? What do I do with my dog when he poops on the ground? Are there any yeah, I don't know. I think these bullets could go under why dog walking is, no, that's not true. Why
what is required of dog owners? Like what is that information that
dog owner etiquette?
Yeah, what is required? Yeah, dog owner etiquette in Southborough.
But that's about more than just waste. That's about the dog. Does Southborough require dogs to be under control?
Yes, the bylaw, I read it. Yeah, they can't be a nuisance or.
So can't the question be what does Southborough's bylaws require of dog owners?
Well, there's more than just these 2 pieces though. And that's where I personally would rather spend no more time on that. And understand that by law. I mean, I think it's a good point, but how do we get these 2 points out here?
Well, yeah. Well, why don't you just say, what does it require? what does Southborough bylaw require of dog owners? And then you have your 2 bullets and then say, see the
Yeah.
blah, 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 the website for more information.
For the full accounting of requirements or something, yeah.
For full requirements or something. Well, and is it please always keep dogs under control, or does the bylaw say dogs should be kept under the control of their owners or something?
Yeah, we can look at that language.
Because
It's
right
funny because
above
my
it-
boss always says I don't need to say please, and I do say please a lot to be nice, but I don't know.
Okay. So are we comfortable with number 6
yes,
and number 7?
yes,
Okay, and we changed 5. Okay,
yes.
that's good. And so we want to skip the
Yeah.
application, just nothing. We'll make no changes.
I think that the more important things are the supplemental in the web page than the actual license form.
I'm with you. Yeah, it
Yeah,
just came up.
and-
Someone said, yeah.
And that's a form, and it's just like there's not anything to check or anything there. So I think it's just weird to have extra stuff.
Yeah. Okay. How is the info page coming in our minds?
So in the info page, after we changed to where is dog walking prohibited, I would drop the first sentence just because everyone thought it was weird. And now that second sentence really is the answer to the question.
Okay. So I'll add that, adds a little space that I can add the details about the storm drain catch that directly into lakes and streams, not treated stuff down here.
Okay. Oh, so it says, and keep in mind that we share the use of these beautiful properties with our neighbors and wildlife, but we didn't really ever mention any specific properties where you can walk. So I'm wondering if there's some different way we can say that.
So
I'm sorry, where's that language?
That's that last sentence.
right where my highlighter is. I guess I was thinking that all nature,
Mhm,
like where we walk our dogs,
mhm.
like all natural, all properties, like whatever they are in whatever town they are. It wasn't
Mhm.
specific to,
To Southborough.
yeah, to Southborough. And it was more about, I actually had read, was it that brochure from the Bark Ranger that led me on this path?
So maybe we share Southborough with our neighbors and wildlife or something.
I definitely understand, like it is a good, I like the thought, but I'm just trying to think of a slightly different way to say it.
Because you feel like it directs people to properties in Southborough?
No, it's more because like we didn't actually talk about any properties in Southborough where we can walk.
So
Dogs.
it's vague. So it's vague.
Or I guess it just doesn't make sense with the messaging, the other messaging.
What if
You know what I
it
mean? Like,
says, what about please adhere to the posted rules of the properties you are visiting, comma, keeping in mind we share them with our neighbors and wildlife, like the properties you are visiting, we share them.
Keeping in mind that we share them. I like that choice.
Does
Okay.
that address your concern, Jenny?
With our neighbors.
yeah, I think so.
It's a little vaguer, but it's a pronoun that refers back.
Is that okay, Kat? It was more like
I like it.
I was just thinking it didn't mesh well with, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I like the concept, so I was hoping we could keep the concept, and we did. So I don't care.
Okay.
Beautiful
Okay.
property.
Yeah, I think it was a good catch, Jenny.
Um, Oh, so I guess you probably did this on purpose. And well, at first it was a little weird to me, but I don't know. I understand, I think probably the reasoning, like where you have the bolding, Southborough has a dog bylaw. It's like right under the map.
Yeah.
So I guess you were probably trying to like just highlight the specific bits of it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with, it was like a little weird to me at first, but then I was like, oh, I guess you probably did it because of this. And so like if everybody else is fine with it, I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I'm fine with it. It draws
Okay.
attention.
Okay. And Jenny, you saw I added the additional bullets for the excess nutrients and the
Yep.
fish kibbles,
Yeah,
the-
looks great. Thank you.
Stuff, yeah. Okay, so do we feel like we're in a good place with the document?
Yeah, do we need to vote on it as edited?
You probably should, given like, the
I think
earlier
it's worth it.
discussions.
So can I have a motion?
Well, I'm curious, do we want to vote on just this, or do we do a collection of vote on the materials we talked about and discussed tonight so that everything's
We can do
encompassed?
one vote or multiples, that's fine.
Okay, yep, sure.
Okay, so which one's next then?
Okay, so let's see.
The letter or something?
Yeah, let's do so we did the town dog page, the dog waste. Welcome letter. All right. Okay, everyone see the welcome letter? Conservation Commission, Town of Southborough.
Yep,
Okay, wonderful. So everything stayed the same. We didn't touch anything on the first page. It's page 2 where they already had what's highlighted here, apply for dog licenses, da, 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 da. And then we added Southborough requires dog owners to remove and properly dispose of all dog waste and to keep dogs under control at all times. And we link down below to the bylaw.
Mhm.
So that was the only thing added. So do we want to put in here anything really specific about properly dispose of your dog waste in a trash can, not a storm drain or any of that?
Oh, how about just inappropriate receptacles or appropriate trash receptacles? I don't know. But you don't have to go into the storm drain business here, I don't think.
and I would just have a really persnickety thing, the footnote should be outside the punctuation. Period 1, not 1 period.
Great. So that was that. And then the other thing that we wanted to add completely here was this. There was no, so before we received the letter, there was no mention of open space and trails. So we wanted to add a section of open space and trails. So I think this is the Stewardship and Trails Committee can talk about their little piece of it, and then open space will want to weigh in on how they want it framed. But rather than adding multiple sections, which may be the end result of if people want to split it out, it was just add one section. So this was the proposed approach.
I
Oh,
think it's
should it say open space stewardship and trails in the header?
open space, comma, stewardship, comma, and trails.
And then there was one,
Just so you know, it wasn't an exclusion of stewardship. It was more open space being inclusive of natural open space. But I like your approach here. It's much better. Thank you. Go ahead.
there was one type, like I remember there's like one typo in some of these other things that I picked up on. And promotes awareness should be plural.
Oh,
The
thank
Trails
you.
Committee promotes.
Thank you. Actually, I don't know why this would have, this open space would be, unless this should be, like open space PC, and then this stewardship. And this is trails. Although you can find the words in there, it's probably better to.
Yeah, I don't think you need to introduce them, do you?
Uh,
I mean, I don't feel strongly, whatever.
yeah, maybe not.
I mean, if it fits, I think it's okay. You know, if it's not gonna, it seemed like it was fitting on the same lines, right?
Yeah, yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. Okay.
Is something wrong though with the stewardship one? Because it doesn't have two E's. Like the
Oh.
committee at the very end.
Yeah, it was just missing the text. The link works.
Yep.
Yeah,
Great.
works. Thank you. And I just kept it really simple so that, you know, we weren't trying to make it a, because it now they're probably gonna have to do, oh, they're using 12 font. They can get rid of that to make it, if they can make it 2 pages versus 3. Oh, there's a lot of space there they could work
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, I definitely agree with keeping it simple because it is a lot of information.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah, the youth and families is a really big block. And like, we can't edit other committees, so.
No, yeah. And Melissa can take this and make her work her magic.
Yeah, and you know, frankly, like really only one sentence of it is really ours in terms of stewardship. And then
Right.
we're, yeah, so yeah, it's good. All right, anything else on this one before we go to a next?
No. All right.
Okay, what's next, Kat?
I think the only thing left is the map board and just identifying that we have. I mean, we could talk just briefly about the interpreted signage to see what we can do about that. Okay, you've seen the map. You've probably seen this before. You may
Yeah.
recall. Okay, so this map.
It's taking a little bit.
Oh, okay. Let me know when you see a map.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, great. So we had seen this map before. I'd put together this piece. This is using Sudbury Valley Trustees map. I reached out to them to get permission to do that and to make some small tweaks. They had some descriptions down below in the light green section, and I took that out. It still says prepared by Sudbury Valley Trustees, and they were fine with us using it. And that's because they host the map. They use this in their the Wilfrid Turin Wildlife Habitat up here. So what I've done is added the trail names. I'm curious about what size this is going to be to even make those, you know, something that can be read. So that's one concerning question. I added the parking at Walnut, the parking at Kitterley, and the parking at Woodland Road. And I also walked Breakneck Hill to confirm. So the question was, does this map represent the trails at Breakneck Hill? So when I walked it a few weeks ago, there was one section up here that was not on the original map that I added. And then there was a trail that was taken out somewhere in here.
Right, yeah.
So I took that out. And I did this very haphazardly just by cutting out some shapes and adding some other lines. But so basically what's confusing and new is confusing because it's hard to map out, but was some of you can walk around is it the garden where the bee, you know, they're up here, you have the bee hotel,
Yeah.
you have this loop. And then there was another little loop. So I added a couple of loops to map and represent what's in existence. So this is much closer than it was. I mean, it wasn't even that off, right? But it adds the additional text. So I think this map is pretty representative of Breakneck Hill, and I'm comfortable putting it on a map board. And then these, you'll see these permitted uses are exactly similar to Breakneck Hill, only in that I didn't put drones and flying objects or whatever it was, because you're in a forest and good luck if you can do that anyway. So it was saving some space.
Does it need for full rules look someplace else, or is this enough here?
Well, that's a good point.
And where does the QR code go to?
The QR code goes to this map PDF, a PDF of this map,
Oh,
essentially, so they could download it on their phone and take it with
okay.
them. But I think you're right. We should add something in this box here. There's space to add it, to send them to the stewardship page. But I want to say like, so can you see my screen? I pulled up the stewardship page.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we go to the town forest on the stewardship page, it really doesn't talk about the rules and regs. It just talks about all the fun things to do there.
Right.
So I mean, we that is actually not a bad idea, because these are fun things to do. I guess what we could do is, do we want to have the list of rules at the bottom of this page? We could ask Melissa to modify it and add the list here.
And where are they on stewardship's page?
They are under, I think it's under Breakneck Hill Conservation Land. So I'm going to click on that. Yeah. And then it just takes us to this page of rules and then dogs.
And are the rules sort of the same? Like, you know how like for Breakneck Hill, it's like no, or you need to stay on the trails except for when there's snow cover. Do we basically have the same feeling for town forest, or do we want people to stay on the trails all the time at town forest?
Yeah, I didn't address that specifically, because I'm like, do I have to address that specifically? I asked myself, because you see the room I have, which was very little, so I didn't put that one piece in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know
Right.
if it matters so much in the town forest that we list that. I mean, if the committee feels very strongly about it, then we'll find room for it.
Well, it does say stay on trails on this. Are you talking now about for the website, or?
Oh, I think I was specific to your conversation about stay on trails except when snowfall. I didn't add the snowfall piece. There's no.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I think this is more. Yeah, I don't think you need to say except for. I mean, I guess the question is, would we want people like roaming around the town, you know, like off trail in the town forest? Like we sort of give people permission to do that, like at Breakneck Hill, but it's just it's an open landscape because it's a grassland.
Yeah, I think we're probably okay saying stay on trails.
Just stay on trails for here.
I agree. And it isn't the sort of fragile habitat in the way that our grasslands are at Breakneck Hill.
But that being said, I mean, I think there's definitely, I mean, this is probably my ignorance of grassland vegetation, but there's definitely, you know, there's definitely like plants in forested areas that like, you know, like I know that I've like learned that lady slippers, you're not supposed to walk in that area at all because like it can, you know, impact them negatively. So like, I don't know if that's the case with, you know, grassland vegetation, but I know that there are some just, I don't know if there are lady slippers at town forest, but I feel like there are things that are not insanely rare that are still fragile.
Yeah. So does
we don't want to
trails
encourage
help accomplish that?
Yeah, we don't want to encourage off trail, and we already say stay on trails.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I'll add, to your point, add a website tag for more information. Visit.
Yeah, if you have room.
And then we'll add to the bottom of the town forest webpage these rules.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, so I think if we're comfortable with this, the question is what size, and I can work with Gemini on that, like on their recommendation. I feel like I need a proof because when the signs came back from Gemini, they were great. but it was a 9 by 12, and he did mention, he's like, well, you have a lot of text here, so I'm going to go with the larger size than an 8.5 by 11, so it's a little bit bigger. But when they did get printed, I mean, you do have to kind of, they're not the kind of signs that you're going to like stand back and say, I can read that sign. You know, you've got to
Right.
kind of go up to it because there's a lot of text and a smaller text, you know. So with a map board, you know, you don't want people to have to use a magnifying glass for it. So I don't know what size he's going to recommend. And I don't know what size the little, this text is going to come out at. And
Yeah,
if-
I think you need a decent size. Ask him what a decent size is.
yeah, decent size.
I'm
And
using
the other thing
technical
is,
language.
well, what we learned when we were printing the yard signs is that this is an 8.5 by 11. And if they stretch it to go on a much larger size and the image isn't set for that, it's going to stretch and look all weird. So yeah, I'm going to have to redesign this based on that and hope that that image will suffice. And if it doesn't, I think I'll reach out to Sudbury Valley trustees and ask them if they can produce a higher pixel image so that we can maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. I do have a question because at the top, which I can't see right now, but I think it says Breakneck Hill or Southborough Town Forest, Breakneck Hill Conservation Land and SVT Turin. But then it says, we hope you enjoy your visit to Town Forest and SVT Turin.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's a good point. So I went back and forth, and I think, so this is going to be at the Town Forest. So that's why it says
Right.
that at the welcome. But it has a great map of conservation at Breakneck Hill, and it's right across the street. And is there any harm in
Yeah.
promoting the property? So what would you suggest as a way to
Well,
make
Breakneck
that?
Yeah,
Hill's
I don't
on the
know, like,
map.
what'd you say?
It's on the map,
Yeah,
Breakneck
and I
Hill.
can't get it off
Yeah.
the map easily.
Yeah. I think it's all right.
Okay.
Okay. And then I put Breakneck Hill because first after Town Forest, because it's Southborough Town Forest and Breakneck Hill, and then I separated SVT's terrain, you know, the SVT terrain wildlife, because I don't want to confuse the two. And I specifically note whose ownership of whose,
At the bottom.
yeah, to make sure it was crystal clear. Okay, so we were going to put two of these. One was going to go at the end of Walnut Drive going into the forest. And then one was going to go on Woodland. Did I say, so at the end of Walnut and then on Woodland?
Yeah.
It's the Stewardship Committee.
Say it right here by the.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I'm okay not saying the Southborough Stewardship because we say it's owned by Southborough. So then it's implying Stewardship Committee is Southborough Stewardship. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm okay not saying Southborough again.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and so,
Okay, good.
yeah, just so that I have for the minutes, so one was gonna go at the end of Walnut and one was gonna go on Woodland.
Yes, there's an
Um,
existing post and plywood platform that I'm going to reuse.
Okay.
The one question I have about that is whether it's easy to get to, because sometimes the brush will grow up and that's a poison ivy area. So I'm going to need to make sure that if we're putting a map board there, that people can get to it and see what they need to see without getting poison ivy. So that will be a concern addressed when we figure that out. So that's it for this. Any other questions on this one? Okay. So then the only other thing, and I don't want to forget it because it's such a good idea and it was part of the grant that we mentioned. And so maybe you guys can help me come up with a solution that we can work with, but interpretive signs. So we don't have, I've just no time. I had no time to pull it together before to have you guys respond to. So, you know, some of the information that our grad student Kimberly Berry had provided may suffice or be reused for the interpretive signage. And we had flagged, just as a reminder, a location, Wood Frog Way, on the way to the pond. We had flagged a little area that we thought it might be nice to have the interpretive signage. So you're walking along Bay Path and you see this little, you know, sign. on a post. So what does it say? And then not wanting to spend and recognizing that everyone has limited time. Is there anything we can pull from some of our fact sheets that might be, we could reuse? But if it's specifically at the pond, you know, at that entrance, it may not make sense to just solely focus on birds, although here's spotted salamanders, but we don't
Yeah.
really know that spotted salamanders live in there.
Hmm.
And there's the turtle bit, and there's, is there a wood duck thing?
I mean, I think we thought that they were probably spotted salamanders. I don't know. I mean, so that's the pond where we did the certification application.
Yeah.
And, you know, people who are experts can tell the difference between different species. But I think we sort of assumed that it was likely that they were spotted salamanders because that's like the species that's like in the Oregon Road area.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's true that I don't know for sure, but
Okay.
I think it would be,
So-
that's a pretty common species. I think it would be fair to like put information about wood frogs and spotted salamanders.
Yeah. So we have here spring peeper, right? So that's what she had actually called out, spring peeper and the spotted salamander. I don't see a wood duck here. And then she has a dragonfly. I mean, dragonflies are probably all over that place I just don't see them because of the mosquitoes and stuff. So could we do a combination, like, you know, have an interpretive sign be a couple of highlighting a couple of species and, you know, talking about them, or what are some thoughts? And, you know, is that something that we could pull together from here? So we're not reinventing, we're not starting from scratch. We're repurposing some approved language, so it makes the decision process a little easier.
It's possible, I guess. What is it we want to feature? Like, so if it's that location, I like the idea of the turtle and the peeper.
And the salamander.
Yeah. And would we would still have another opportunity to review and weigh in on that?
Oh, of course, yes, yes. So what we would essentially pull something together and then have, you know, folks review it.
Right.
And
You're
then
not trying to like get it out to a printer or something by the 30th, are you? Or you are?
Well, I guess let's talk about it, because what's feasible, right? If there's one thing left over and we say to the, you know, because we'd like, so ideally we send a thank you to John Warren and we close out the project with some pictures and stuff, and say we don't have that installed yet, but we have a concept and we can share the concept with him, that would be acceptable, I think. What do you think, Joyce? If everything else was done,
Yes.
and we had pictures to show that everything was done, and this is the only outstanding piece that we're just, you know, finalizing now and will be up in the next 30 days. And we did that with the, I think we had some fishing receptacles, something like that. We were going to build a couple more. So in one of our other grant applications. So we did something similar. So would that work? And then that gives us another meeting to approve and get Freddie's input if she attends and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about the temp forest, there's a lot of opportunities to educate about the different kind of trees there and the kind of habitat it creates. But because of the location, it seems like those like turtle and stuff. But
yeah,
like, I'm just not sure what I'm not thinking of.
Yeah. Okay. So
I guess I personally feel like a good focus would be wood frogs and spotted salamanders, because they are vernal pool indicator species. I mean, we can't officially say it's vernal pool, I think, until it's, I don't think we can officially say that because it's not it's not certified yet. Yeah. I guess I personally would
species. I love that idea. I love the idea of focusing on the indicator species, wood frog and salamanders.
Do we just want to do
I mean,
the
and we
two?
can also, maybe potentially mention, I guess, I assume someone has seen a wood duck there at some point. Because there's
The duck box.
a nesting box, right?
There's a box that we don't know if it's ever been used. I don't know.
Oh, but has someone seen an actual wood duck there ever, or was just like they?
We had a Boy Scout put it in. I can ask Jim if he ever saw one there.
Okay. But yeah, the turtles. But I mean, I think you could like perhaps give some information about some specific species and then say, other, something like that other species found in this area include, or, something like that, and mention the turtle and potentially the wood duck and, dragonflies, some of the bird species.
There's a couple bat boxes up too.
Yeah.
But that's a little.
But the
We wanna
only
probably
two that are
focus.
the only two that are indicator species are wood frog and salamanders, right?
Yes. Spotted salamanders. Yes.
Yeah, I just feel like that's a nice.
That's like a story to tell about that particular area.
yeah.
And it's a focus story, not, too many things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a why should we care? Wow.
Okay. So, okay, that's great. I will pull something together and then circulate it.
Well,
the
do you want some help
So-
with that? Does somebody want to help her with that?
Yeah. Well, I would like to do it, but I'm also not going to be around a lot.
But
You're
next-
coming back after Disney unless
Yeah.
you choose to stay there because you love it so
Oh,
much.
I'm sure I will not wish to stay there.
Yeah, so
little
like we said, we just took the timetable off a little bit. You're going to be gone the week of the 18th, coming back. I see what you're saying. So like the week of the 25th, it will be your coming back week. And pretty busy too. So if
I mean, you can just say we have like,
respond to it.
what?
If I put something together and you respond to it, is that an easier lift?
Yeah.
Unless I'm just totally off the mark, and then you have to, and then you can just say, Kat, I need more time, and we can just we can put it in
Mhm.
concept and put it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can also
what we say.
Yeah, I mean, we also can say that we're planning to focus on, vernal pool species or vernal pool indicator species and, highlight some of the other.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be fauna and flora or just animals. I'm not sure. And would it be something where it's just like kind of like something written out, or would it be like pictures on it also, or?
Hidden picture. What? Pictures.
What?
All pictures. Yes, we have to have pictures.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I wasn't sure like how big of a, if this is something really little or something more like
Well,
a cup. What is this? A foot
Kind of-
or two
yeah, like,
feet or?
yeah, like if you think about, well, there's the little ones, 8.5 by 11s, which are too small. I
Mhm.
was thinking more like double that, like, or just something that you can look at, that's not
Yeah.
massive, but it
Yeah,
has
yeah, okay.
some images and stuff so that it's attractive. The
Yeah.
only thing is the copyright issues we'll run into with images. So I'm not
Yes.
exactly sure how, and that's why reusing some of Kim's work, as long as it's acceptable and credited, was ideal. But she's
Like,
not.
can
covering some
you
of the-
click on the spotted salamander one just out of curiosity to see if like
Sorry.
what image does she have? Because just because she.
So she did all this.
Oh,
artwork.
but that's her drawing, right?
Yes, right. And
So that
when
makes that a lot easier because and she's given us permission, right, to use these?
as long as she's, and then Freddie actually specifically had her sign it so that anytime artwork was used, her name would be associated with it.
Right. Yeah. So that actually makes it a lot easier to include.
Yeah. And
Like,
vetted
to-
information in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it ties into the last project that was done in the forest. But anyway, so I think I hear everything. So I think we've got a good place to be. So I can draft something and have you respond when you get back, and we'll be in good shape with the
Mhm.
grant. I did forget to say, we haven't looked at, and this can be really quick because the materials that we had to approve, the additional language, the additional blurbs, from the campaign.
Yeah.
So I just didn't focus on that. But the good news is after our last conversation, I'd gone through and kind of stretched it out a little bit. And so we didn't have as much content. So I kind of took it down a notch. And what I've also been finding is, you know, finding ways to kind of like tweak, add the positive. So for example, are you seeing the screen up on week 4,
Yep.
April 11 approved? Okay. So this was an example of where it started with, you know, where dog walking is allowed, please pick up and pack out of your dog, and pet waste contains bacteria, viruses that can, instead of that, you know, putting, we love our dogs and would do anything for them, but here's the scoop on dog poop. So adding just a line or a sentence or something to kind of like, you know, spruce it up a little bit, make it less just
Yeah,
fact,
that's
but
good.
it adds a little flavor. So that has, you know, I did that for this one, for example. So this week 4 has already been approved. And I guess let me stop and say, you know, how are you guys, are you experiencing the campaign at all on social media or in these emails? Are you getting any of that to, you know, sent to you? Do you see it?
So I feel like I got the first one because I think I got a notification that someone, I guess Joyce posted in the share and care, but I don't think I've seen any of the others. And I haven't been, you know, looking for things specifically. So I'm a little surprised that I'm not getting notifications. I feel like I usually get notifications when Joyce posts things because we're Facebook friends.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've gotten notifications of additional postings after the first one.
Bella, have you seen any?
No, I've not. I can ask my mom though if she's seen any because she's quite active on the town website and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm curious about your activity level. Like, so are you a big social media, and Jenny, this might be for you. Are you a big Facebook, you know, user, or do you just pop on occasion? Because that affects the algorithms too. So for example, if a post goes on at night at 8 o'clock, you might not see it because you're already off Facebook. And then by the time you come back onto Facebook, I don't know what your schedule is like, but if you miss like 10 hours, then you may miss that post. So that may also influence the likelihood of you seeing something. I'm just curious.
Right. So I would say I'm not usually just randomly scrolling the share and care page. It's usually like I get notifications and then I look at things.
Yeah.
And even if I didn't like look at it during my workday, like I feel like I would have registered like, oh, there's another, you know, they're posting another one.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I got a notification for the first one. And I don't know, again, it might be the algorithm thing.
Yeah, I will say that I don't know how many times I've posted, I already forget, but maybe 3. And the first 2 got way more attention, and the third one got almost nothing, like literally a half a dozen likes. So I do think that, especially if some of the people are getting it also through the library and also through recreation, that like there's a little bit of saturation because I feel like the first 2 got quite a few likes. Is that about what you noticed, Kat?
No. These posts are getting less likes than any other posts I've ever seen that I've been a part of. I think like 3 to 5. I don't know if I've ever seen a dozen or more. They're not getting a lot of traction on the Trails Committee page either. A few loyal likers, you know, I appreciate all those loyal likers out there. But if you put cute and fuzzy dogs, or what I'm noticing, if you put cute and fuzzy birds and you say, you know, watch out for the baby birds, then you get more likes. So it really does, the image, the messaging is really it does influence, you know. So I don't know. And I'm curious, Jenny, have you signed up for electronic alerts with Conservation Commission so you get like noticed when they send emails out, or town alerts?
I don't think I have ever signed up for e-alerts. And then I guess the other thing that I will note is I don't think I liked the first post Joyce made on purpose because I was like concerned if it was like the whole open meeting law thing. Like I know everybody said we had to be very careful,
About what
right?
you-
Oh, no,
I
you
mean,
can-
because
you can
we're
like
all
them all.
committee members.
Oh,
What?
no, we can like them all. We can't deliberate on Facebook and go back and forth. and
Oh,
make
so we
decisions on
can.
Facebook. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And you can also, you can follow Trails Facebook if you want to. I'll put that out there. You can do that too. Do you hear what I'm
Okay,
doing?
but well, yeah, no, I guess it was more like, no, it was more, it was okay to like things when like, Joyce posted it and Kat liked it already and then was a problem. I liked it also and Freddie liked it also.
No, there's no
No,
issues
okay.
with liking a post at all. The only thing we want to stay
Okay.
away from is having a conversation.
Any
that we
conversation.
normally have in a committee meeting. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay,
everyone feel free to like away and then follow Trails.
okay.
But yeah, so
So if they're getting
Yeah.
less traction, what does that tell? I mean, what do we do different?
I think, I don't know if technically we're getting less traction, right? Like, I think like today, Mass Audubon, so they, and the Trails Committee, so Mass Audubon, the Trails Committee follows Mass Audubon. Mass Audubon posted something about birds and being careful about keeping dogs on leash. It just happened to be relevant. So I posted it on Trails Committee page and it got a couple likes, but unless so I don't know if the only thing I think we could do differently is just, can we, ensure that our messaging is remaining positive, and that if there's any new information we can provide, because I think that, to your point, Joyce, some of our information is repetitive. That's part of the program though, too, is 6 weeks of the same information. You're going to be able to quote it like we can quote it. If you don't like it, you're just going to move on from it. If we can think about like maybe we don't have to include that, the lovely image of the dog, a person holding the dog in the poop bag over the, if it's not a video, if we include something, a better, kind of a more attractive picture, I don't know, things like that can do much. But I mean, other than that, we only have a couple of weeks left of this, and next week is going to be Poop Fairy week, right after we do fairy marking this week. So there is the speaking of poop fairies, so DPW said yes to the flashing sign with a qualifier. So I sent over that, you saw the email, Joyce, right, that I said like scoop the poop, because there's a limited number of characters to scoop the poop, and there are no poop fairies, right, something like that. And Karen, I just have to write, what did she said? She said, you can't just leave it as scoop the poop. She's like, you have to say something else. I just thought it was funny because it was, but
Why
I don't know.
you have to say something else?
She said, don't want to put poop the scoop without context. So having
Without
said that,
context.
yeah, we have 9 characters. So then I asked for clarification, like, can we do 2 back-to-back messages, 9 characters apiece? So we understood what we were working with. So, that is something that I think the committee, so she can flash the sign on Saturday.
Yeah,
That's what.
Saturday, good.
So what do we
Scoop
want
the
to
poop
say?
is more than 9 characters.
How many is it?
Oh, that's true.
SCOOP. Space TH.
It's like 12, or with spaces 14.
With spaces 14.
Scoop poop. No, yeah, it's hard to get
Yeah, like
a short message.
SCOOP. So if you did like capital SCOOP and then capital POOP, I'm saying like just capitalize the first letter of the word, then you could do scoop poop.
Yeah.
Wait, but then you wouldn't, but how would you say there's no poop fairy?
Yeah.
Is that what you were trying to do?
How is it that it's so limited when they put up like peewee, softball registration and dates. That's way more than 9 characters. Isn't that the thing you're talking about? Where they put that
That
kind of
flashing
stuff?
sign at the dump, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It seems like there's stuff with more characters all the time there. Unless I'm not thinking of the same thing.
Yeah, the electronic sign.
When you pull into the
drive in.
to the transfer
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have very complicated messages there. Register to vote, dates, like it's more than 9 characters. Why are we being limited to 9? Or do I just not understand?
Well, I knew there was always a limit. I just don't. The limit is 9, which includes characters and spaces.
Per line, maybe? I just feel like there's complicated messaging there.
Yeah, I asked what's the character limit that we have to work with. And that's what she said. So what's our message? What do we want to say? Scoop, poop, no fairy. See, it's just going to be all out of
It doesn't really work as well, right?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, you could
Yeah,
say,
I don't really see like how there could possibly be a character limit. I don't know.
Well, there has to be a limit, right? But you're saying you
Yeah,
don't see
yeah,
how
of
it
course.
works.
but it just doesn't sound right that it's 9.
Okay, I could ask. We could also, if we don't think this is a good idea, we could reserve it for the guided walk, say, but I don't know how you get walk. It won't even help because you can't get your point across.
Yeah, maybe maybe try and get clarity on that because it just
Well,
doesn't
but
sound right.
we only have, so say there's more, and what is our very succinct message? Let's come up with that. And if it has to be tweaked, I will work with Joyce and have her approve any tweak. Does that work? As a way to kind of move forward so that we can.
Or
blast
2.
Hmm?
What?
So we can blast past this. So we've got scoop, poop, and that's 9 characters. If we had 2 messages flash back and forth, because you're there, by the time you drive up, you can see one message flash and another message flash. What is that next message? So is it,
There is no poop fairy, but I mean, yeah, but you just can't get it into 9 characters.
no.
Yeah, it's possible maybe it doesn't work, unfortunately.
I mean, that's sort of what I'm thinking with the 9. It doesn't. Because even just to have just scoop poop, it would have to be all run together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't even easy to read with the double P.
Right. Even if you capitalize in 1.
I don't know. I guess I just thought we had a lot more characters.
Okay, say we didn't have the limit that we have, but we needed a short couple messages like we were initially envisioning, like scoop the poop and there's no poop fairy. What would we want to say?
I think it would be that scoop the
Yeah,
poop.
yeah.
There is no poop fairy.
And I think you could say scoop poop maybe instead of scoop the poop, but yeah. But I think there's no poop fairy. I think I don't see how you shorten it.
Okay, got it. All right, so if we can't do this, then it's nothing. And if we can't do this, could we do the walk? So it would be, we could do the date 4/24. I don't know what we could do. Nature walk.
Nature walk.
We can't say stewardship. I know, right? You can't say. anything about it or any registration or
Yeah.
Nature Walk
I mean,
424.
honestly, like, I feel like if there's only a 20-person limit, I would think that it would fill up easily. And I don't know that you need to publicize at the transfer station.
So nothing. So it's either nothing. Okay. So if we can't do that, then we'll do nothing. Got it. Okay. So just quickly, we're going to go really quick through this. So for this week, we have slated that we said we were going to pause and have Joyce do not tomorrow, but another day this week on Sobo Care is the We Love Our Dogs, and the video we've already looked at and approved. I'm happy to show it again, but I think in the interest of time, we don't probably want to relook at information. And then Trails will be posting a townwide alert and a Trails e-alert on this DCR quote about dogs in watershed and why there's restrictions. So we have, and that's just going to be on that piece. And then Friday we'll have, we looked at that video that was a music video about scooping the poop. So that's been approved. So then the next 2 weeks, the week of the 18th and the week of the 25th. So that's what we're at. And so what the big idea was to have Saturday be the poop fairy unveiling. You know, we have the signs go up and Joyce so we're going to probably flag and put our permanent signs, not our permanent, but our yard signs up at the same time. And we're just using the poop fairy signs. That's right. Are we using any of the other variations at all or just the poop fairy? Because we got 6 of those white signs.
I thought, you know, I feel like we've talked about it a couple of different ways that we would sort of rotate them in and out over time.
Yeah.
But focus on the poop. I mean, obviously it's the poop fairy day, but would we use those other great signs too? Or is that a way to keep interest after?
I think we could do, because I know Freddie liked the poop fairy and the yoga ones, and she thought those to be, did she say they were more permanent? So we talked about doing it next weekend. We can this coming weekend, but we could also do it the weekend of the following weekend, Earth Day, right? And then we could use the other signs and post those throughout.
To just keep interest. Yeah.
So,
those signs would be going like at the trailhead parking lot, or?
I thought they were going to go all throughout the property along the trails, like different places along the trail.
This poop scoop yoga and but I thought there was only like 1 copy or 2 copies of each of those.
There's 4. We got 4 copies of all of the variations except for poop fairy, which we got 6 copies of.
Oh, okay. Okay. So 4 copies of each one. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize there were so many. Okay.
Yeah, we had changed that out last time. So I say, I mean, honestly, I don't feel that strongly either way. I mean, they're all great signs. I like the idea. Like, I do think it's nice that the poop fairy becomes like kind of the
main one for that weekend.
Messaging for that weekend. Whether we use other signs as well at that time, to me, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Okay, so we'll have them, but probably we'll focus on poop fairy signs. And then the only other thing is if you want it on the Earth Day weekend, I have those extra volunteers. We could volunteer to go out I could grab a couple people, go out on Friday the 22nd and post those signs throughout the property. And they'll be up for Earth Day and they'll be up for Sunday. And then I can pull them down on Sunday if you wanted to have another weekend round. And that would be the variations.
I'm okay with that if we have people who can do that, but it wouldn't be associated with the same kind of attention that we're bringing to.
No, we're not going to be there. We'll just have the awareness.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. so then after the poop fairy is introduced, now we can have videos about the poop fairy, right? That's the big,
That was the idea.
So, okay, so then we have we already looked at this poop fairy video. This is that funny guy that's dressed as
Yeah.
a fairy in the forest. So we don't need to look at him again. And this is where I said I kind of tried to lighten the information and stretch it out. So some of this has already been approved. So then this was, let's see,
So that was week 5.
yeah, this is week 5, week 18, April 18th.
And that one
So-
already was approved.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this next video and see if we're okay. This is a quick one, 30 seconds. Sorry about the brawl. That's uplifting, huh?
Yep, I'm okay with it.
Great. So that was for the week of the 18th. So that's one, and we're going to do that 1, 2, and Wednesday, and then this was Thursday. So really just two content pieces on that week, and then the week of the 25th. So we have, let's see what this is. This is a different version of the poop fairy. Okay.
Yep.
And then this next one.
Who let the dogs out? 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 But the party was nice, the party was pumping.
You know what? This one is so fast, I couldn't even really read it. I don't really like that one. Honestly, it was just really fast. Did anyone else react that way?
Yeah, no, I also thought it was like too fast. If you don't have another one that you can easily replace it with, like I don't think there's a harm in using it, but yeah, I definitely had the reaction that it was a little too fast to read some of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd taken some content out, so there might be some other video. Actually,
Or does every message have to have a video?
no, but I don't have approved pictures, so it's more about, just the impact people have, like.
Yeah, and I think there's not a lot. I think it's good if there's a video because there's not really a lot of information in the, in the actual blurb.
Yeah, and
For most of them.
what we haven't played is the DCR video. And I wonder if we could remember the DCR video that we had. There was 2 videos, one with the funny voice and one was a funny voice cartoon, and then the other one was a guy in a park walking a dog talking about dog waste. It's a longer video.
Oh yeah.
So we could replace that here, if you're okay and comfortable, like using a DCR video, even though properties aren't always DCR property. I think the message is a very good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, did we have a problem with that last time we talked about it?
no, I don't think there's any objection. And I think that's a really good one to kind of end on.
Yeah,
Two.
I guess I just didn't like this one. It was so fast and it seemed to have tons of content, but you couldn't even read it.
Okay. And then I thought, as a closing message, kind of around the 29th, we could just say like a thank you to, some sort of message, like, we want to thank our outreach partners, I think, everybody who participated and who shared, helped
But
us
do we
share
need to do
information.
that on social media?
How would you like to do it?
I guess like, who are you saying? Like the library, the recreation department and that kind of thing?
And the town, yeah. Like, it would just be a closing, like some sort of closing. It doesn't have to be a thank you. That could be done separately if you don't agree with it, but some sort of closing to close out the program. The last 6 weeks, we've done, the outreach. It's similar to our intro blurb, but an exit blurb. It's like, we hope that you have learned some important tips during this process, and yeah, so thank you for your attention, or,
I'm just not, I guess I'm just not convinced it's necessary for social media where it's like all these quick hits that it needs that beginning and an end. Do you know what I mean? Like I like that endpoint. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious what other people think.
I feel like it'd be nice.
I
to
don't know.
have
I don't have a
people-
strong opinion. I've never been involved in a social media campaign where
And Bella, you were trying to say something?
Yeah, I think that's fine to say thank you to everyone in a closing message. I don't see anything wrong with that, and I feel like it would also just like help people in the town like understand who is also a part of it. Because
It
they
could be
might
Go
What?
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, they might not know like everything that went into it, so having like a closing message, like summarizing everything, might be helpful too, if people are like interested in wondering who helped with this outreach program.
Yeah, a reminder that it was the Stewardship Trails Initiative funded by Choate Fund, and, participating, there was participation from, lots of town commissions, boards and committees that work to kind of get the word out. And I think people appreciate gratitude, but we don't have to.
It's
overdo
fine
it.
if we all think it's fine. Like, who would we be listing there?
I think just those that have participated. So it'd be recreation on a regular basis. It was
Recreation,
conservation
library.
commission, recreation,
Library.
library, conservation, the town, Vanessa, they tweeted and they did town alerts, and Self shared some content. Is there any issues by saying thank you to that?
That's
They
good.
shared our
Okay.
content.
Oh, my Southborough, yes. What'd you say?
Self shared our content.
Yeah, they shared some content in the beginning.
Oh, if you
Without-
need like a
That was without prompting, Joyce. That was, they picked it up and took it.
Yeah.
if you need like a picture of a dog on a trail, I'm sure I could find something. Because you said you were concerned about, I mean, it is true, like that the post with like pictures, like, and people will just say, oh, I'm including this picture for,
Attention.
just to get attention, right? So when they have like kind of just sort of, they're asking for advice for something, or, like or a review or whatever. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you need like a picture of just a dog to include, I can send you something.
Yeah. So I think that works when we don't have a video, because I can't share. I don't know if you found a way, Joyce. You did it once. You shared a video and a picture.
No, it was
No?
just,
Yeah.
the picture was the video picture, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
So
guess,
think,
Yeah, so I'm saying for this final message, if you want
okay. Yeah.
a picture of a dog just to get attention.
Yeah. Like a cute picture of a dog would
Yeah.
be great. Yeah. As
Okay.
long as it's not at anywhere in location in Southborough where
Yeah.
it would bring attention to where we're not trying to bring attention to.
And we're thanking people who we asked to do something and people for their attention to this. Essentially.
And for their attention and for their, obviously for continuing to pick up after their dog. Pick
Oh,
up after.
Okay, wait, I think you're back. I couldn't hear anything, so I don't know if I froze or everybody else froze.
Oh, I think it was you. I'm sorry.
Would you, Jenny?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is helpful, and I'll get you to approve them, Joyce, you can run your eyes over it and make sure that it's equally posted and, that it's clear that everybody, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the danger always is if you list everyone, then you leave someone off who did do something, like DPW, if we ask them to do something, like if we did end up using those boards. So sometimes
we
it
can
can
also,
be-
okay, so that's a good one. And I bet, maybe some people shared that we weren't even aware of.
Well, exactly. So sometimes it can be better for just thank you to everyone who participated in our campaign without the list, in other words.
You could say something like, thank you to all the town boards, commissions, and organizations. Is that really ridiculous?
Yes, probably. Sometimes less is more, maybe. Like, can we be gracious, but
We
not?
can
Thank you.
be,
Oh, like, thank you
not
to everyone who
comprehensive.
participated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we can be. I think on the Trails Committee website, on the Scoop the Poop page, we might put it at the bottom because it's been a trend of ours to speak to every entity. And I think what I've heard in the past, just to understand why I drive to naming them, because your point is very clear, very good point, Joyce, that you can miss somebody, but I've been told that, DPW never gets thank you, and recreation oftentimes gets overlooked for certain things. And so it's made me more sensitive in my workings to try to be obnoxious about my, thank you to.
Well, it's
specific
not
people.
obnoxious. I'm not
But
sure
I get
DPW, like right now, has DPW done anything in this campaign? No.
Well, no, but you said if DPW does the flashing signs, for
Right.
example,
Yes,
then they
if they
would
do the
have.
flashing
So,
sign.
yeah. So things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I do think it's okay to be,
less is more big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially when you have a post that people have a 3-second attention
exactly,
span.
like,
And the whole
thanks
point of
to
social
all.
media is to be brief.
yeah.
And that breaks Kat apart because I'm not brief.
All right, so is that the last one? Kat?
Yeah, I think now it's the last stuff. And
All right,
yep, thank you all.
and I think that was our agenda, is that correct?
Yeah, and I don't, other than the interpretive signage, you won't hear from me again on this
All
topic.
right. So we do need well, we were saying we wanted to do a motion just to sort of,
Yep.
okay.
The motion.
I guess, well, I'll try and you can help me with it. I will make a motion to approve all of the dog waste campaign materials as discussed in our meeting tonight. Is that
Edited,
Engineer?
maybe, or amended?
okay, as amended?
Do I have a second?
A
I second.
Thank you.
Okay,
Word
so all in favor, Bella,
Yes.
Kat? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Yes,
Kat.
yes.
Oh, sorry, Jenny?
Yes.
And I'm also in favor, so the motion passes.
Great. Thank you all very much. Joyce, you'll be getting information. If you can't look at it tonight, I understand, but I'll try to get that guided hike stuff right out to you.
Yeah, and Dan said he should get the bio to me. He's, let's see, what did he say? He needed a short bit for the bio. He also said he could, if there's more than 20, he could do a second walk the next weekend.
Oh, that's cute.
I know we don't have I mean, we're funded for the one, so.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes, and when when we have walks in the future and whatnot, can always, it's always nice to have multiple people that we can go to. All right, so is there
Absolutely.
any other business before our committee tonight?
Oh, I think we could- oh, I have one. So I posted, just in case, I should let you know, this is a big one and it's quick. Oh, I don't have the picture up. The signs. So you had mentioned that I should go ahead and post on the, can you see this, the picture that I have up?
Oh, yay.
Okay, so yeah, I put these two signs. Now I can't, so they're only temporary. They're put in with screws because I had no choice. The tacks won't work for those and they'll come right off. And so they can unscrew and screw back on. And when the map goes up, these are, you can put them wherever you want them, right? So the map gets priority, I get it. But so I went ahead and put them up. And then someone had put this 5K couch to 5K up. They used paper clips. No, what are they called? Pins? The
Push pins?
no, something, safety pins.
Oh.
It was a very creative approach. Anyway, and the Earth Day. So it doesn't look great, this haphazard approach. So Saturday,
Oh.
Joyce, you and I can fix that up a little bit. And then I put, as you had recommended, the, sorry, you're gonna see some miscellaneous randoms. On the post going into the trails, I put the laminate rules. So the dog sign covers dogs and the laminate rules is that. And that's attached with screws too, but it's laminate and that's all I had. So that's where we're at. So that's the only other two pieces.
Yeah.
But
we're
those signs can
probably
move,
gonna
so
have-
no need to worry.
Probably have to buy some bigger signs just to make it more legible. Like
Yeah.
that's more clear now that we've seen them. But that's okay. The signs are not that expensive. So great.
That's all I did. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything? So can we move to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
thank you, Bella. All in favor, Bella,
Yes.
Jenny,
Yes.
Kat,
Yes.
and I am in favor. So the meeting is adjourned and it is 8:47 p.m. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You
Night,
too.
Bella.
Thanks.